There is a space in my heart where I find the truth. I find me in you, a truth beyond what you may see now. But when we are one, we bring more good about. No matter who or what you call yourself or where you come from, yeah. There is a place in this world with open arms right now. Welcome to love, welcome to peace, welcome to our community. Be who you are, let your light shine. We're so much more when we unite. You are welcome here. You are welcome here. I see with new eyes, allow and unfold, embrace and let go, trust the flow. There's a freedom in love when you follow your heart. Together we are stronger than we could ever be apart. No matter who or what you call yourself or where you come from, yeah. There is a place in this world with open arms right now. Welcome to love, welcome to peace, welcome to our community. Be who you are, let your light shine. We're so much more when we unite. You are welcome here. You are welcome here. Breathe in and out, slowly feel all that's around you, all that you feel, all that you know. Let it go. Welcome to love, welcome to peace, welcome to our community. Be who you are, let your light shine. We're so much more when we unite, yeah, when we unite, oh, we unite, yeah, yeah, when we unite, yeah, yeah. You are welcome here. Love is welcome here. Peace is welcome here. You are welcome here.
Yes, you are welcome here. Thank you for being here. Thank you for saying yes to life. John Stringer, as always, reminding us that where you are is a safe place. It is holy ground. When you know that you are welcome. And I'm welcoming you. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. And good day to you wherever you are at this very moment in time. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for saying yes to life. When you tune in, You can hear. You hear because you're listening. When you listen, you can be transformed. Doesn't matter if you just think I'm talking about the show, or you know that I'm also talking about listening within. 2020, the year 2020 is a year of transformation. And if you're not transforming with it, you might get torn apart. I am Ade, your transformational agent, your beingness artist, here to support you on your journey. Welcome to another episode of Being You. The journey. No, that's not it. Actually, we changed the name, didn't we? It's Ade Presents Being You. The journey back to yourself. It is season 2, episode 15. Today's Tuesday, 11th, 2020. My brother friend is joining me, John Stringer. So I'm excited. I'm excited as if, like when you're cooking your favorite food, something that you really like and enjoy, and it's not ready yet, but you're like, I know it's going to be good. It's my favorite food. I have that kind of joy going on with me. And I'm grateful for that, I'm grateful to have people that join me on the show where I look forward to creating with them. And not just the guests, but you as well. This is like breath to me. It gives me life. So to have guests and you as well, a guest in the chat room, the audience, I'm grateful to be able to do what I do. Ade Presents Being You is a reminder to support you, to take a look at how you see yourself. I mean, really, how you see yourself, not based on the judgment. I mean, you can do that too. It's good to see how you really see yourself. So yes, even if it's from a judgmental perspective, an affirming perspective, that you really look at how you see yourself. You look at how you see the world. You look at how you see yourself in the world and how you see the world in you. The you sometimes will say, tell people, well, all you have to do is be yourself. But what is the self? How do you know the self? Sometimes maybe you need to experience yourself as not yourself in order to know yourself. Because we know this, we really know deep down. We have a spiritual, we're connected, tapped into a spiritual idea, a spiritual construct, if you will. But unless we experience the spiritual principles, like apply it in our lives, it's hard to beat it because we're not sure if it's really true. And that's what this show is about as well. It's just helping you experience life the way it shows up for you as you. And then being yourself becomes a natural process. You got to go from knowing to experiencing to being. Can't be what you don't know. Yes, we get it. We know it spiritually. But as long as you're in the physical body, you need to practicalize it. Kathy is in the house. Kathy Gates Stringer is in the house. Raven is in the house. New Jace is in the house. Quali is in the house. Thank you all for being here. John is in the house just leaning back like, dude, whenever you're ready, I got this. I'm just going to lean back. I don't even have to prepare for this show because all my life I've been preparing for this moment. When I grow up, I want to be like John. What do I need to tell you? I need to let you know that Ade Presents Being You and Ade Presents The Heart of the Matter simulcast on Being You Podcast Facebook page. That's a mouthful. Being You Podcast Facebook page. You can also see it on my personal page on Facebook. I prefer that you go to the Being You podcasts because I'm going to be putting a lot more in that page. If you got the invite to like it, go ahead and do it. But you don't have to. You have a choice. Just be you. And also broadcasted through YouTube. The YouTube channel is Life Conversations Media. Today's topic, today's affirmation. Yeah, it is an affirmation. I see time and money as expressions of love. Didn't think about it as I did not see it as an affirmation until now. I see time and money as expressions of love. Man, John and I, man, we're just deep like that. We just give birth to we let it calm and we throw it out and then we catch it later like, damn, did we come up with that? Do you think I'm showing off? Maybe I am. You can show off too. If you show off and I'm showing off, then you don't have time to judge me and I don't have time to judge you, right? So it's really simple. But if you're judging me, then you're not showing off. Anyway, let's see who else is here. I love you too, Kathy. Thank you for all you do in supporting your beloved John Stringer. What do I want to tell you? I want to tell you about John because I'm ready to step into this conversation. But before I do that, I knew there was something. I want to let you know that I have a second show now, Ade Presents The Heart of the Matter. This is a show where I have a guest join me, and we go through a process of discovering, recovering, uncovering what wants to be birthed. You know, there's a lot of things that we're dealing with right now. So if you're growing through some challenging experiences, suffering, feeling pain, I don't care what you call it, it's all part of the human experience. And you need support in really uncovering and seeing what wants to be birthed. Send me an email. You can do it through the Being You podcast Facebook page, or you can send me an email via my website, lifecoachade.com, lifecoachade.com. And you can be my guest. We'll work through it. And if you want to, if you're kind of like, well, that sounds interesting, but what does it really mean? Well, again, go to the Being You podcast Facebook page. There's got to be an easy way to say that, but right now there isn't. And just check out the archive. You see it there. All right, let me tell you about John, because when we get going, we gets to going. Let me read a little about him. His bio. There's so much more about him, and I know that you will feel it, you will experience it. Some of you that are listening, you already know the work. So this is literally like preaching to the choir. Anyway, for those who need to know, like, who's this dude sharing stage with Ade? I mean, come on now. Ade don't need nobody. I just want you to know to calm down. He's on my level. Oh boy, that's one of the reasons I love doing this, because I don't know who's going to show up. This part of me just comes out of nowhere. Anyway, John Stringer is a life teacher, a speaker, Billboard charting singer, songwriter. He's a healer and an author with a passion for music, community, and limitless love and light. He teaches others how to access their genius through a spiritual path, creative path, and intuitive path. He's the founder of Polyplat Records, a partner at Healing Arts Management, Conscious Songwriting Retreat.com, co-host of Awakened Pillow Talk podcast, co-host of Master Moment Makers.com, and a true collaborator, and a true collaboration leader at bandingpeopletogether.com. You can find out more about him by going to his website, johnstringerinc.com, johnstringerinc.com. You can find him on Facebook, facebook.com/johnstringer1111. Isn't that something? And he's here today on August 11th. I wonder how that happened. And Instagram, John H. Stringer. You can find him. And okay, now I won't do that. All right, let me bring him on. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, psychics and skeptics, physical beings and non-physical beings, help me welcome my brother, my friend, myself, John Stringer. What up?
What's up, my brother? Good to be back, man. Yay!
I just love it. You're just leaning. Here I am, been adjusting my lights and my microphone and adjusting which side, and you're just like, yeah, what's up? What's up?
You know, we went through that this morning, adjusting the mic, getting the lights right, and my laptop is still booting. It's still
really?
It's a Mac, make it so bad. Yeah, it's locked up. I don't know what's going on. So I was like, all right, well, phone it is.
Oh. I just saw something in the chat room. I actually thought somebody else said it. After reading your bio, somebody said, when does he have time for his wife?
Hey, that's the blessing. We created
Together.
something where she is with me nonstop. So we're blessed. But there was a time where I didn't, where, you know, the traveling, going for 34 days, coming back, proposing. It's like, that ain't gonna work. We got to change this. So
and then when you were in the house, you used to wear your hat.
That's right. Back in the day, boy. We got lessons for y'all. Things not to do. that do not create
oh my God. It's like, hey John. Oh, he's got his hat on. John.
Hey, it worked though, man. And you know what? At that time, it served us all because it created. And for those that don't know, I used to wear an unavailable hat. This unavailable hat was the signal if family came while I was working, because we all worked from home, that I couldn't be disturbed because I'd have projects with deadlines and all kinds of stuff. And so if the unavailable hat was on, that meant, nope, can't talk right now. And so
unless it's an emergency, and if it is, call 911.
That's right. Nah, that was the thing. Unless it's an emergency, the house is burning down, or something is critical, unavailable means unavailable. But the beauty of it was this: it served the purpose at that time.
Yeah.
Then it ran its course. It no longer served us after that, you know. But it did train. It trained us all on how to be disciplined, how to remove distractions, and how to respect each other's space when we needed to focus. And so now all I gotta say is, oh, let me finish this. Oh, you know, give me 10 minutes. I'll be right there. Or I can't stop right now. I don't need to wear a hat. So we've gotten better at communication. But
is it better at communication, or you just got a big head? There's no hat that fits anymore.
That might be it too.
All right. People did come to us cracking up. Well, maybe they come to her that I don't know, but yeah, it's always fun to have you on, man. I like today. I was
blessed to be on with you, brother.
Yeah,
and you know I'm like, you know why I'm laying down. So
I do. You want to tell listeners why you're laying down? It's not like you just so a spiritual OG that you're like, I don't give a flip about what y'all think. I'm just gonna lay down here. Well, you obviously don't, but still
might be a little bit of that, but you know. Nah, but I broke my ankle, had surgery, so I got it laid up. So I'm relaxing it, elevating it right now, because I know we're gonna have a good time. And to me, this is like, I always appreciate you, brother, having me on. This is, to me, the opportunity for us just to do what we do. Like, we just get together, we just pour our hearts out, authentic, let spirit flow. That's how we do it, man. So you know I'm down. I'm showing up.
Yes,
showing
indeed.
up to show, let spirit show out.
Well, you let spirit show out and I show out.
That's right.
So I read your bio and I've introduced you. You've been here before, and I also know that they're new listeners always. And part of this conversation, Ade Presents Being You, is the emphasis on names, what the name means and how it shows up and what it means to us. John Hamilton Stringer the fourth, because I'm hearing Johnny in my head. So tell us the meaning of your name or names, whichever one you want to share, and what it means to you.
Well, for me, it's been a lineage passed down, you know, a label passed down from my family. Of course, being the fourth, what is that, great grandfather, and then a name that I passed down to my son as the fifth. So it's always been something I've felt a warmth for, that name, but I also see it now more as a, you know, as a label. I've heard my spiritual name and our authentic name being one. You know, it's kind of like you can have whatever name you want, still don't change the essence of who you are, right? But I think it's a beautiful expression of the roles we get to play. So I'm very fond of the name, just because it's, something grew up with and all that stuff, but not attached to it too. Like I feel like at some point I may not even carry that name. Don't know
What
when
does that
that'll
look like?
be.
You do a Prince?
I'll do a like the spiritual name I received. Funny enough,
Okay.
my dad also received. So I'll just switch to that.
And the spiritual name is
Yohanan.
okay. And what does that
So
mean?
one day that might happen. Say again.
What does that mean? The spiritual name?
All same thing, John.
Okay.
It's just Hebrew.
Okay.
So in fact, if you look at my email signature, I don't know how many people know this, but it says John Yohanan Stringer. So it's already in my email signature. I don't go by it publicly just because people know me as John Stringer. But when I listen to Spirit and that's what I heard. So I was like, all right, I like that.
Yeah. I feel you, man. Thank you very much. So, we're talking about the title, the topic today is Seeing Time and Money as Expressions of Love. And I remember when we came up with that title, I really just got excited. I was like, oh my God, because it just happened in that moment, a few days ago.
Yep.
And I've been with that title. And as you heard me earlier, it's like I can actually see like an affirmation. I see time and money as expressions of love. Before we even break that down, how do you define love?
That's a good question. I think I don't define it anymore. I think I just experience it and explore it.
How did you define it before?
Before, I think I defined it as a very limited idea or concept, like this emotion and action. Hey, it's rebooting.
Yeah, finally. That was like, we're glad that he doesn't define love like that anymore.
I know, right? Yeah. So it was very, kind of abstract, emotional idea of who love is, that feeling of that you feel, towards someone or something, or and then you can show love through the action. So I kind of defined that all together. Now it's like that's been blown out the water. It's like that's nice, but so much more. I'm just experiencing it, and I feel like when I'm boiling it down, or letting go rather, of the concepts, it lets me experience what is as that. That at the essence, that's what love is. It's everything that comes our way, everything that our awareness expands into. At the heart of it, that's what love is. But like describing it versus experiencing it, it's kind of so I've tried to kind of allow the words to come to describe it, but it's kind of like I can't really, how do you put words on the essence of everything? You can try. Good luck.
The minute you describe it, you already limit the whole thing itself.
Exactly.
And what I hear you saying is there was a time where you saw love as just a feeling, an emotion.
And an action,
Now you're recognizing that it's so much more, that it's really a state of being, right? Is that what you're saying?
And at the heart, it's everything.
Yeah.
Like, at the heart of it all that's love. But so that'd be the easiest, simplest way I can describe it, I guess.
I'm with you because that's, when doing a show, I'm always thinking of I want a title that resonates with people who need to hear it. And of course, either sometimes the title starts to work me, or I'm working it, or we're doing both, trying to figure it out. And I've been really thinking about that. And one of the things, especially when it comes to love, my work is rooted in love and transformation. And sometimes I just want to, I just want to get up and slap people when they say, "You need more than love," and I want to tell them how love is all there is. But I want to slap them to realize that how loving of me. But the thing is, people often generalize when they say you need more than love or I don't trust love. It's because they limit. Yeah, let me say it that way. They limit their experience or their understanding to what they feel, their emotions. So it's this love that is in romantic love or brotherly love, which is full of conditions. But when we're talking about unconditional love, the love that is all, the love that accepts, the love that creates a space of freedom, of liberation, the love that holds everything together, it's a different conversation. And the reason I wanted to break this down, there are many reasons, but more importantly, is this idea of time and money, where there is a general understanding, conditioning that we have to get on a treadmill to catch up with time. And then there isn't enough money. So somebody who still have a bit of that in their thinking, like, how can that be love? So I'm sort of laying the foundation is what we're saying. This whole thing about why it's a choice. You don't have to see money and time as expressions of love. But when you do, based on my experience, it's a whole different conversation. I don't have a question because you and I are chopping it up. Where just I know you're loading up quicker than the map you have build up. Now you're ready, reactivated.
Yeah, that's it, man. Now you hit that was well said. I feel like want to take us to a conversation you and I have had, and Kathy and I have recently had about leveling up, and how as we begin to expand our awareness and we level up in these higher levels of consciousness, which you could also define as accessing spirit, accessing the know it that comes from spirit, for those from the Christian tradition. When you begin to access that spirit and access that knowing, what ends up happening is your mind is transformed. Like you begin to let go of the limited ways of looking at things, including love, including who we are, and it begins to expand and transform your mind. In reality, that transformation is a renewal. The Bible talks about be transformed by the renewal of your mind. What you're being renewed to is the natural state of your mind, because you have been conditioned in society, in your family, in life itself, in this world, to look at love a different way. And so that conditioning limits how we see love, and we begin to misperceive what love is. We think love is something separate from us. It's something we got to go get somewhere, something we got to conjure up, versus the reality is, I'm going to share this principle that a dear friend has this wonderful course, and she received it this way: everything and everyone, including me, is the love of God. Everything and everyone, including me, is loved by God. Everything and everyone, including me, is the loving energy of God. Feel that?
Yeah.
Right?
There's ease in that. Yeah.
Right? Just ease. And the reality is, as we're experiencing what that really is, I think it lets a lot of the worry, the stress, the concern go, and allows us to begin to look at what we're creating.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what you were saying earlier about you can choose how you look at time, how you look at money. You can choose the old limited condition ways of looking at this expression of our source energy, of our uh, mental consensus, you know, of fiat, fiat money as they call it. That's a mental consensus. It's a
Yes.
construct that we all agree on, right? You
Yes.
can you can look at these items. Even time is a construct. It's a measurement of a spatial experience, right?
Mm-hmm.
Something we've created. You can look at all of these things and give them whatever meaning you desire to give them. Our conversation is the suggestion. What if you looked at it as an expression of love, expression of God, of your divinity? And I think that's expansive. For me, it was very expansive, but I want to go to what you brought up and shared with me that even led to that conversation.
Mm-hmm.
When you shared with me the exercise you did, and I think a couple of days later, I did like I guess you received it in a meditation or whatever,
Yeah.
and
Mm-hmm.
then I did the exercise, and then I was like, next time we talked, I was like, oh snap, that was powerful. I was like, bruh, I hope you don't mind. I'm gonna share this exercise. I hope you're willing to share it as well. You said, let's do it on the show. So we're
That's it.
gonna share the exercise on the show. But I
Yeah.
think what this does, this exercise, before I'll let you speak on it, but what I noticed about the exercise was it revealed a lot of the meaning that we're creating. And the
Yes.
reason that's important is because as we think of so shall it be in our
Mm-hmm.
experience, a lot of people quote that. And I think it can be misleading if you don't realize that universal principle orders this and designs this whole experience. And that's
Mm-hmm.
unbreakable, it's unshakable.
Mm-hmm.
Everything is happening for you. That is always the case.
Everything.
And you can determine the quality of your experience
Mm-hmm.
by your own quality of your choices, the quality of your thoughts. That's the called the law of choices. So the quality of your thoughts determine the quality of your experience for you. The overarching principle is it's all happening for you, and you get to choose your own journey. You get to determine the quality of your experience, and that's still happening for you no matter what you choose. It does not change the overarching principle that this is happening for you. It just gives you the power to create the quality of your experience. Thus, the quality of your experience with money and time lies in your ability to recognize the quality of thoughts you are choosing about money and time.
Mm-hmm.
And if you recognize those, you could become aware of what you're creating, decide whether or not you like it, and then change it. So that's why I like this exercise you shared with me, because it really
Mm-hmm.
exposes, oh wow, the quality of my thoughts about time and money are a little more interesting than I supposed.
That was mind blowing, man. It was mind
No,
blowing.
no,
Now,
cool.
astrologically, I'm a Cancer rising, and one of the things I say about Cancer people, very caregiving. I know you're
Mm,
using your phone, and I
yes,
can't
I
imagine
am.
you holding this phone all the time. So while I share the principle, because it's like I'm listening to you, but it's like, oh my God, he's holding that phone. We might go on for another. So I'm like, hey, wait, I'm doing a show, but he's holding the show. It's holding the phone.
I
So if
know,
you
right?
want, I can kind of go to full screen, and you can try and get your computer on.
Perfect.
And
That'd be great.
all right, yeah,
That'd be
because I
great.
know,
Thank
yeah. So but don't hang up on here yet until you can get on your computer. All right, I just
you. Got
remove you from the screen. All right. Yes. So the exercise that John was talking about, it happened a little, maybe about 3 weeks ago. I was meditating. Um, it's funny actually because lately I am enjoying my meditation and just so much is happening, like more than ever before. Just the connection and what I'm hearing and what I'm feeling is clearer, and I get confirmation. And sometimes most of the time actually, some of you know I write daily thoughts from the hill. It's a monthly devotional inspiration. And anyway, I write that. And usually when I write it, I've written so many times, read it so many times, gone to the editor, come back. There was a time I hardly read it. It's like, I don't want to say it because I get judgmental about my own writing. Anyway, now that this phase of my life that I'm in, that when I finish doing my meditation, journaling, listening to spirit, writing down what I'm hearing, and I go read a daily thought, it's right on point. I'm like, oh my God. So that to just say, the quality of meditation. And I've been thinking about that too. I want to digress a little bit. There's some people saying I can't meditate because I can't get still. First of all, you want to ask yourself, are you buying into somebody else's idea of what meditation is? Because if you're sitting still and you're just thinking about what you're going to do when you get to work, what you're going to have for breakfast, good. Because you're allowing the unconscious to become conscious. Sometimes it's just when you meditate, you got to still your mind. If you're not still in your mind, you're going to meditate. Okay, maybe. But it's a practice. Anyway, in my meditation, I was guided to, in short, to look at my thoughts about money and time. Spirit told me, okay, get your journal. Write your thoughts about time. Well, it was the other way, actually. Write your thoughts about money. Not that it matters, but I like to be a perfectionist sometimes. Write your thoughts about money and write your thoughts about time. And I'll tell you, I started with money first. And as I was writing it, I can feel that what I was writing. Not only was I seeing it, I can feel that it's true. I had almost like maybe 98% of my thoughts about money was the same around time. I was shocked. Now, it's what John was saying earlier. The quality of your thoughts determines your experience. Now, sometimes we say thoughts become reality. Thoughts become your reality. But what we sometimes don't think about is, yeah, you can have the daily thoughts, the thoughts that you're always thinking on a regular basis. But what about the thoughts behind the thought? What about the sponsoring thoughts? What about the thoughts that's been recorded in your subconscious mind? John, let me know when you're ready to come back on the screen. You can let me know through the chat or something. Or India, when John is ready, you can just bring him on. What about the thoughts behind the thoughts? Like I'm talking to you right now, and just now you notice I was thinking about John and I vocalized that. So sometimes we can easily say, well, my thoughts about money, I know God is the source of my supply. But yeah, if you really know that God is the source of your supply, that you're a resource to buy the source, do you worry about money? Do you worry about opening your letters, your bills, or what you have in your bank account? Do you feel sad when it's not what you think it needs to be? Now, it doesn't change anything if you feel sad. It's an opportunity to become aware. What is your relationship? What does your bank account, what does it trigger in you, inspire or trigger? When it comes to time, do you feel like you don't have enough? Oh yeah, I want to do that, but I just don't have the time. I can take care of my kids, then I got to go to work, and then whatever it may be. When I wrote that down and I realized that most of my thoughts, I had for money, I had 25 thoughts. Can you believe it? Just writing. Time around about the same amount. And they were the same. And in that moment, what I realized was time and money was never an issue for me. The issue was how I was thinking about it. Some of you know that I relocated and relocated. I forgot I made that appointment, but I was reminded that I need to come back to UK. And so being back here, I'm having to restructure my business and how I charge, what to charge. And sometimes I find it very challenging to kind of put an amount on my service. When I did that exercise, it was mind-blowing because it freed me from the limited thoughts that I have about money. So I think John is back now. John, you ready? Okay, great. So it's like I was able to separate my thinking and all the anxiety about putting money to my service and all the other stuff. Don't have enough money. Oh, money's coming in next week. I hope they pay the invoice quick. It just, all of that disappeared. And I'm actually trying to, well, first of all, what happened was there was a sense of sadness. There was sadness because I was like, oh my, I didn't know I've been thinking about time and money like this. So the sadness was coming from, shift. Let me say shift. Like all this time, I've been wasting my time, my energy, trying to fix my relationship with time and money, when really the changes need to happen internally. And then I can't remember if this, I think I had this other part of the breakthrough. I think it's before we talked that, yes, it was. Because then when I did the exercise, what was revealed to me was, why don't you substitute how you used to think about money and time as when you pay a bill, receive money, pay money, spend money, circulate money, however you want to define it, or when you're using your time, you are expressing love. So when someone pays for a service, they're expressing love. And I'm receiving the love that's being expressed. When I'm charging for my service, I'm expressing love. When it's time, I'm choosing to use my time a certain kind of way. It has changed the way I think. Not just how about money, but so now I still have some of the residues that come up. Like today I was doing an Instagram live and I didn't find myself. I revealed myself to myself. There was a me that was thinking, oh, we got to hurry up and finish this because we got things to do. We don't have a lot of time. It's like, oh, caught that. And what brought me back to the center was I'm expressing love in this moment. They say time is money. And you were sharing earlier that everything and everyone and myself is an expression of love. Time is money. Money is energy. So time is energy. Time is money. Because if time is money and money is energy, then everything is energy. So how are you using your energy? And if you've bought into the idea that there isn't enough energy for you to thrive and survive and be successful, then you've missed the point. And they want you to believe there isn't enough. They want you to believe there ain't not enough time, there's not enough money, and whatever else. And we have to do that inner work to break free from the BS. So we can have the conscious thoughts, but what about the thoughts in the background? And for me, there were thoughts in the background that I was unaware of. But when I shut it up and sat down, I sat my behind down and listened to spirit, it was just mind-blowing. So yeah. I know you're loading up one more time. Go ahead. Over to you, my brother. I don't think I'm going to ask. Well, actually, I might ask you questions, but you know how we do. We're just doing what we do, and people get to watch us do what we do.
That's right. But they get to see it real time, like a fly on the wall.
Right.
But yeah, that's by the way, I'm hands free now.
Yes,
my wife.
I feel better now.
Kathy hooked me up with a stand, a tripod, so I'm good.
Good.
Crazy enough, when I did the exercise, how do I look at time? How do I look at money? I begin to see some patterns too, old patterns that were just making themselves clear, or my awareness seeing them clearly. And it was, for me, similar to how you described it, just mind-boggling how related each of them were. Now they seem, in some cases, they were on the, I wish I could give you an example. My computer's down, so I don't have the journal in front of me. But in some cases, the thought patterns were kind of, they were underlying it was lack. Like there would be these thought patterns that
most of mine was that straight up.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So underneath it, you could see that same thread, and sometimes they would be cleverly disguised lack. In fact, you called me out on one of them. It was so awesome, man. So me and my brother talking, and I'm like, man, right now, because I was having a challenge with after the surgery, taking the medicine and just passing out, like having a hard time staying awake during the day, and just being out, waiting in, having a challenge going to sleep at night. So I'm up to 6, 7 o'clock trying to get to sleep, uncomfortable, changing the boot and hurting and waiting so I can take the next medicine and finally falling asleep. And all the while, these opportunities are coming and responsibilities for speaking and doing different things. And I'm feeling like, man, I've got an abundance of opportunities. And on top of that, I'm listening during my meditation. When I finally get up and I listen, source, what's mine to do? Things come our way. I get, yes, do this. Yes, do that. Yes, agree to do this. Agree to do that. I'm like, really, spirit? Yes, yes. Now, in my mind, I'm looking at all these opportunities, responsibilities, things spirit keeps telling me to do, and how hard it is for me to stay awake. And so underlying was, I think I said it to you, I got an abundance of opportunities right now. It's just the challenge getting to them. It's like, what do you mean by abundance of opportunities? That's what you asked me.
Because we spiritual people, man, boy, we be coming with ways to say things and not say it. Like, ooh, that's deep. I should start using that. But it wasn't even I was trying to catch you. It's just like I was listening and I'm like, okay, wait, I really need to.
You were curious.
I'm not sure what you mean here.
Exactly. And as you said it, I realized what I was really saying was too much. It wasn't abundance in the sense of gratitude. It was abundance disguising lack, that I have too much to do. I have a lot of, just as you pointed out and helped me see, sometimes we can choose this language, as I did, to try to put the positive spin on it, to bypass the lack
you were
that
doing
we're
spiritual
feeling.
bypassing. Oh, okay.
Bingo, yeah. So it's funny, when you ask that question, it genuinely helped me see the pattern. And then later when I applied your that exercise, so I highly recommend doing that exercise so you can see. What I saw was the lack of time, with this quote, how I was calling abundance. It truly is abundance, but my mind was looking at it as too much to get to. It was so abundant that I felt I didn't have enough and I couldn't be enough to get to it. Like I couldn't be present with all of it to get to it. What that helped, once I was able to see that pattern, I could recognize it and stop bypassing and say, let's shift this and let's decide differently. Let's choose to think differently, because the quality of my thinking made my experience that. As a man thinketh, so shall your experience be. Now, that's the reality we create. In my mind right now, if I think I got too much to do, that is what I'm resonating, that is what I'm feeling and vibrating, and that is my experience. It's what I'm projecting into the ethers, if you will. So what I changed to was recognizing something that the spirit had already taught me. I just had to realize it. Had to realign with it and realize it.
And be renewed in that
and
moment.
Be renewed, exactly.
Your mind. Yes.
Yep. To remember and apply it, was that right now, when I'm listening to spirit and spirit guides me to what I am to be right now and what I am to do right now, is all that matters. What's coming next? We can hear it and put it on a list and all that. But even in that process, right now, what is mine to be and do is to listen and put it on that list. And now, what's mine to be and do? And that's all we need, be and do. And that is more than enough.
Yes.
And whatever else is out there on the list, you'll get to it when it's time. You can't be and do all of that right now. You don't need to. That's not how this wonderful expression is unfolding for us. At least from our conscious awareness. Now, in reality, yes, we're doing it all, but at the essence level. But getting back to the application for me became, man, recognizing these limiting thoughts and just letting them go. Simple as that.
Mhm.
Letting them go and being aware of how am I feeling? How am I being in this moment? Am I feeling like, oh, it's too much, too little? This, am I judging and creating this experience? Even with
Mhm.
my presence is a way I use my time. And if I can
Mhm.
become more conscious and aware and aligned with the higher knowing that knows exactly the perfection of this moment, knows
Mhm.
exactly what I am to be and experience, and knows exactly what I am to say and how I am to say it and what I am to be doing right now. It knows
Mhm.
exactly. When I align with that, let that inform, it's more of a flow and
Mhm.
expression of the natural love we are. So
Yes,
time becomes an expression of love because it's aligned with love itself. And
that's
we
right.
just allow that love to flow and guide us in how we use our time, right? But it's really presence. What we're really
Mhm.
doing is being present through our time. So it's just like if you have a child, like, or a dear friend or whatever, those moments we spend together, if we're present, if we're aligned, it's an expression of love. We're giving of our presence in this moment. So it's giving of our time, but it's an expression of love. So it can be that if we create that. And the best
Mhm.
way I found to create that is, of course, always comes back to our presence, our alignment with source. Now it's the same with money. It's the same with money. That same
Everything,
flow.
really.
Yeah,
Everything
right.
that how we do money is how we do everything.
Bingo. And the shift with time, even the shift becomes if I look at time as this limited thing. Oh, I don't have enough. I gotta make it. Blah 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 blah. That's 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 kind of the typical conditioning of the world that we see. People are
Mhm.
frantic, especially in the U.S. For your U.S. visitors or viewers, um, in work, what they call corporate America. Um, there was before the pandemic a very typical
So many years
hustle and
ago.
bustle. Yeah, yeah. This hustle and bustle and stress energy and gotta do, and this it was almost like the sense of a consciousness of compulsion.
Yes.
We are we have this compulsory doing and wasn't a lot of time for being. Being was in the morning for a little bit, maybe in the afternoon, and maybe at night, and all in between is do 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 do. We just
Yes.
do
We
doing
know
all
what
over the
happens when you
place.
do all that. You do on yourself.
No, hey, it was non-stop doo doo.
Yeah, you're like, oh shit, I'm still haven't achieved my goal. Well, you keep
That's
doing.
it.
What you gonna get?
That's it. And the
Yes.
the crazy thing was, it became this unfulfilling. A lot of us recognize we were unfulfilled, and I think this pandemic time, this break, has been a great time for a lot of people to experience what many of us have been choosing to spend more time being, practicing, and cultivating that presence, that ability to be, so that we are allowing that higher knowing or that essence, the foundation of time itself, or that gets beyond the illusion of time, that is, to
Mhm.
express. And through our money, we can do that same thing. Kathy and I have long been applying meditation and intention and affirmation to our budget sessions. That's how we start them every time. We start with that intention and we bring ourselves into the presence and we ask for and allow source to guide us in our budgeting. And I think just simple things like that, using our practices to guide us in how to use our finances, is a one way to do it. The other way is the same thing, the exercise you show, to expose what's getting in the way. What are the lies we're believing? And then
Mhm.
accepting the truth, accepting and applying the truth.
Yes.
Because the truth is we are all of it. We are connected and one with everything. And there is nothing that isn't accessible. Therefore, money is no exception. Money is just a construct that we have created and we have all access to. And as we access and align with spirit, the will of the I am, we can be guided in how to best use that. It's not that it's not that we don't have all that we need already. It's just that we're misperceiving what is and what our role is, what's going to be best and most harmonious expression of who we are with that relationship. So when we expose the lies we're listening to through questions like you share, how do I look at money? How do I look at time? We can let those lies go and then embrace the truth by listening to spirit. The truth is you have access to unlimited riches because you are the essence of everything, the whole universe. The whole hologram is in every molecule of your body. All the energy, all the power, all the intelligence is composing you. Trillions of cells composed of the universe over and over again, right? So it's like,
On and
okay,
on and
am I
on.
really? Say again.
I said on and on and on. It keeps going. It's like
On and
it's
on
just
and
no
on.
end to it.
That's it.
Yeah.
So truly, if we can uncover the lies and release those, we can access the truth and choose that instead. And what I'm finding is as we do that, we get to decide, we get to choose through our intention, through our will. But we let that intention and that decision be informed by the I am or the higher will, if we're willing to surrender to that. So not everybody you don't have to do that. You are that anyway. But it's a wonderful practice of, to me, what I found for me is as I listen and expand and open myself up to the higher levels of knowing, the higher levels of intelligence that are the subtler levels that inform the cells, that inform the very design of your soul. So I open up and listen to that and let that inform me. What I found is it makes things so much easier because it gets the lies out of the way. It gets the limitations, the misperceptions of, oh, I don't have enough, or oh, I'm separate from it. It lets you get that stuff on out of the way, all the lies, bye-bye. And now I'm listening to
That's it.
this knowing that knows the truth. It knows that I am an extension of, in part and in whole, God, the embodiment of the divine itself, and that I am an expression here to serve roles as that, and that everything I need is already mine and will come in flow as I stop creating an experience defined by the lies. When I stop doing that, I stop blocking the beauty of the flow, and the flow can happen naturally, like breathing. Easy, right? And it can be so much more ease if I align and choose and listen to that and choose that. Now, it can also be a struggle and tougher every level of expansion if I define it that way and listen to that. Nothing's wrong with any of that stuff. All of it's permissible, but what's going to feel best and highest for you will be defined by your listening, your practice, and you'll find the path that works for you and how to shift and transform your mind. Just because my mind transforms to, okay, the next level is going to be easier. I'm going to have more mastery of finance. Oh, I'm hearing spirit calling me to be a millionaire in consciousness first, and then let the assets in the physical and material world line up with that. But it is independent of that. That's what I hear from me. What do you hear for you? What you hear for you might not be the same as what Ade hears for him. It doesn't need to be. Source is seeking to express as you with money and with time the way it wants to express with you. Or as my Christian brothers and sisters would understand, the Holy Spirit will speak to you and tell you what you need to know, how you need to get right with it so you can let God express in your life powerfully and really, not figuratively in belief, based on beliefs, but experientially. So that's what I think love, the expression of love is time and money to me. That's what it comes down to. And I'm seeing, man, last year, 2019, largest revenue in and out we've ever had, ever. already halfway through 2020, more in this now moment, we have more money than we have ever had in this now moment. And it's been gifts from people, it's been donations, it's been programs launched in the US to help entrepreneurs and gig workers. There's been small business administration stuff, so many things. And we've just been like, okay, Source, what do you want us to do with this? So, but before that, we were already committed to giving. We were committed to giving a tithe, 10% of everything. Everything. We've been on it. And thanks to Kathy, she makes sure any money that comes in, she's writing it down so we can come together, keeping great records of it. And then I come in and do the tithing thing and calculate all the stuff. We got this great system working together, and we've been committed to getting that money out as soon as we can. Blessing. It's been a blessing, bro. Like being able to bless multiple spiritual centers a week. You know what I'm saying? Every week, as many as we choose, we gonna give them a blessing through this financial currency, right? Showing our love and appreciation. So we're committed to that, and we're committed to giving to ourselves. So it doesn't stop there. We've been tithing for a long time, 10% to ourselves. Committed. Every single dollar that comes in, 10% goes out to the others, 10% goes to us. And it's discretionary money that we use for whatever we want to express love and give to ourselves. Want a new phone? Bam. You know, want to get your hair did? Bam. I mean, well, those things are in the budget, but you know what I'm saying? Like whatever it is you want. You know what I'm saying?
Well, love, in the human experience, love needs to be contained, not restricted. You know, because you can't run to somebody in the street and say, I love you, we're one, and you've never met them before. I'm like, oh, okay. I'm calling.
Hey, some of us might be down with that.
Yeah, like, hey, I needed to know. You never know until you try it.
That's right.
You know, there's so many things you've said.
But those are just good.
You gonna say something?
Practical application of what I believe is, and I'll stop here, but what I believe is, as we begin to listen, like we started to hear to do those things and we begin to apply them. And it seems to correspond with a tremendous increase in flow. It's like when the universe hears that you are willing to commit, make a decision, when you're listening to a higher level of thinking, commit to and apply it, it brings you the energy because you're doing its will. So if spirit is telling you, man, I need to commit to giving, I need to commit to this, that, or the other, spirit will bring you the supply when you decide. Well, you already have it, but when you decide, you can express it. When you don't decide, you're blocking it. Simple as that. It's already saying yes, you're just blocking it. So anyway, I think I froze up. I'm gonna let you go ahead and do your thing.
You're really making the point.
Yeah. And also you can take me off screen too. I'm gonna refresh.
So okay, cool. No worries. Woo! John got me rocking over here. I mean, I feel like inside I'm like trying to contain myself, not to interrupt. And I knew as I was listening, okay, at one point I was, okay, Spirit, what do I need to say? What do I need to address? Because there's so many things that he was sharing that just got me like vibrated. And I think one of the things that's important to say is how we do money is how we do anything, whatever that is, because it's not the money, it's not the time, as we've been talking about. It is your thoughts about money. And your thoughts is not like, well, I have this part of my mind and my brain that thinks about money this way. And then there's a part of my thoughts in my mind that thinks, no, you're the thinker thinking the thoughts that creates the thing. So, there's so many things that you were sharing. What I also want to say is, and the words that come to me is going back to thoughts. We've been conditioned, if we're in a capitalistic society, of the not enough, hustle and bustle, get it done. And we sometimes bring that same conditioning and thinking into our spiritual practice. Oh, I got to meditate and go to yoga class and do Pilates. And then I got to be a vegan because I got to get it done because I want to live. It's like if the universe had physical eyes, like, what are you doing? What are you really doing? And then we also bring that sort of lack mentality to it. Now, we can now judge ourselves based on, I can't believe that I'm thinking the same lack thought. But really, all it is in every moment, we have two choices. We're either doing what we're doing from a place of love or from a place of fear. Lack is fear. There isn't enough. Love is abundance. So it's like, okay. And what we're talking about, it's not just about time and money. It works for everything. So we're constantly getting news about COVID-19. Some of you that are watching know people who tested positive and maybe eventually died, made their transition, or you know some people going through it. You know that people have been affected in ways that just breaks your heart wide open, that you don't even know what to do. You can still choose love. Love is that space, that state of mind, that consciousness where you are being the space for what wants to happen. So many things has happened during this time. A lot of us, I know people who've just became, they're accessing creativity in ways that they didn't even know. People are writing books. Like, I don't know, I just started writing books. I'm writing songs. And there's some people having the worst time of their lives. So whether the human experience is painful or joyful, there is an expanded self of yourself that is holding it with grace and ease without any judgment. And the checking in, whatever you want to call it, it's you connecting to that expanded self. What is the highest and best to do right now? As you were saying, John, earlier, it may not be somebody needs to do the exercise that we've done, but it's the intention, the willingness to be different. Our choices to love or fear. Which one is it? We are one. Not spiritual bypass. Well, we are one. Why are we thinking of rape? No. Because we are one, we can focus on brown people. We can focus on lighter expression people. We can look at what people are going through and recognize that everyone is extension of the one consciousness, not a way to be blindsided. Like, well, I'm abundant. So, and whatever we choose, it's fine. However, when we find ourselves in a place where I've been doing this for a long time, I'm feeling uncomfortable. I feel like there's a pattern. If we are willing to just stop and ask, what is mine to do? What am I to do? What is the highest and best? Then there's a reprogramming, there's a renewing. And when you talked about new earlier, the renewing of your mind, my dear friend and mentor, Rev D, if you know her, she has a way of just breaking things down sometimes. I can literally feel my mind going, oh, I just had an adjustment. And we did a show a few weeks ago, I'm telling you. And the show, the title was called, what is it? Something about preparing for the new world or whatever. I can find it, but I won't do it. But it's like, I was talking, something about keeping the vision for a new world or something to that effect. And when I came up with a title, I was thinking of a new to come, something that we're working towards right now. And then we're going to create this new. And what she reminded me of, and I say reminded because we all have it in us. We all have the truth. We are extension of truth. We're extension of love. We're extension of all that is. It's like the new is not something that we're creating. The new is almost like a reversal. Like we're going back to the natural state. This newness is waiting to be expressed. Marianne Williamson in her book, A Return to Love. We're not creating love. We're not trying to, you can't. It's already here. When you're sick, It doesn't matter how much meditation, or I was going to say medication, but yeah, meditation too. Meditation, medication, whatever you do, have the best doctors in the world. You're not buying health. You're not creating health. Health already exists. So if we're not experiencing the thing that we say we desire, the most important place to go to is our mind. How are we thinking about this? It's already there. It's already available. However, if we can't correct it, the best gift we can do for ourselves, the best gift we can give ourselves is to recognize that, okay, I have been trying personally here. I've been trying to deal with this thing called time. And for years, when I tell people what I'm doing differently, and then I'm thinking, I've had this conversation 3 years ago about time. The best thing we can do in that moment, I have a choice to either now choose fear or love. So when I recognize that for many years, I haven't been able to handle this thing called time, I suck at time management, it's an opportunity to either be judgmental, fear, or to be compassionate. In the compassion, you said something earlier too, John, which was just like, oh, I felt light bulbs. We expose the lie. When we expose the lie, the truth is revealed. So when I am compassionate with myself, I'm exposing the lie that I've allowed to run my life. I'm now allowing the truth. And I can then ask, maybe there's something here that I need to learn that I've been missing, but I've been missing it because I've been judging myself based on what my bank account looks like. I've been judging it because I never finish a project and another project comes up. But if I'm compassionate, I get to see, really, your desire to get one thing done and another thing done and get that done and have more money, it's one thing. Everything that we're trying to do, it's pointing us towards one thing, and it is to feel good. And in that moment, I'm reminded, you just want to feel good. So by realigning, readjusting my thinking, I get to shift how I'm relating with people. I'm relating with injustice in the world. I'm relating with structural racism. How I'm relating with my family members, because I can say, okay, in this moment, I have an opportunity to love or judge. Love and no judging. Judging is fear. Not righteous judging, but the one when you make yourself feel like I just suck at this, I can't make it happen. So whether how you use your time, how you use your money is an expression. Actually, I'm going to check. I'm doing a little tweak here. You get to decide if how you use your time, how you use your money as an expression of your love or your fear. Here's a classic example. John talked about this, and I'm going to throw it over to you because I'm just like, we're supposed to be going back and forth, but this is what's needed, I guess. See, thinking how it used to be, it needs to be now. But this is different for me to actually you talk and then I talk. It feels different anyway. Maybe it isn't, but it feels different. I know when all of this happened in the surgery and before the surgery, and I have watched you offer music to spiritual centers on the couch. I have watched you do talks and music on the couch. The first time I saw it was probably maybe 2-3 weeks ago, and I came in, you're like, I release on the couch, I release and I let go. I said, yeah, you're gonna have to release to be able to do that. And a few days ago, it hit me. I was like, John is really demonstrating this truth about time, but you can call it money too. They say time is money, but time. Now, I want to say this because I don't want people to think if someone who maybe had an appointment, a speaking engagement, or whatever they do, and they had to cancel because they had surgery or something happened in their life, that they're not in alignment. That's not what I'm saying. But what I saw, John, with what you were doing is the love. There was a recognition that the love must continue to keep giving of myself. If they don't have a problem me being on the couch and talking about who are you, that is the question. We're used to people standing up, right? But it's like when I think of that question, lying down. You might as well be in bed. So somebody could say, why is he doing the speaking? But yeah, I'm putting you on blast. I watch you. But that for me is a demonstration and expression of giving from a place of love. And I also know that if you couldn't do it, you wouldn't do it, because you're not trying to prove a point to anybody. But you recognize, okay, I took my painkillers. It's going to last 2 hours. It's a Unity church, so I'll be done in about an hour. You ain't Hillside. We're going for 2 hours. So there's a you know what I mean? Unity, man. You get there late, you're late. Spiritual Living Center, you get there late, you're late. When you get to Hillside late, oh yeah, we just finished the song, we're just singing. We haven't even started to talk yet.
You know what? I'm not gonna judge you for that because that's funny. But
I ain't judging, I'm just the truth.
That's funny.
If you're ever late going to a Unity church, forget it. Just stay home, because by the time you go there, they're already in the car park. See you next week. But my point is, it's a choice. Love is a choice.
Yeah.
And I want to say it like that because of how we're conditioned. Sometimes we may think when we're doing something based on fear is not a choice. That's we've been conditioned, and there's partly, like a computer, it's been programmed. It's got to work a certain way. But in order to break away from that, you have a choice to choose love.
Yeah, that's on point, brother. You mentioned something about feeling good too, and I love that because ultimately,
your wife said, "Rub that beard," because.
But ultimately, yeah, I mean, that's at the heart of it. I think most of us can relate to. We're always seeking some way. Instinctively, it's embedded in us to seek to feel good. It's just, what are we listening to? The lies that tell us how to feel good, the lies that see problems and think that it feels good to, oh no, we got to fix this, fix that, and it's this compulsory do based on lack and separation from our good. And so it's always chasing and continuing to create this illusion that we are separate from our good, and that the solution is something other than what's within us already, other than what we have already.
Can I just say something real quick? I just want to drop something. Don't forget what you're doing. When you say the illusion of thinking we're separate from our good, what I just caught there is when we are operating from fear, we believe we're separate from our good. Bingo. When we're operating from love, we become one with our good.
Bingo. That's it. On point. That's on point.
I hope I didn't make the point you're trying to make, but I caught it and I was like, "Oh,
hey, have at it." So the funny thing that exercise shows is that part of consciousness that invests or believes in the separation, believes in the lack, believes in the not enough, that creates this experience of not feeling good. But we think by continuing to engage in it, it's going to help us feel good. And what ends up happening is we get a temporary hit, like a drug addict, got that temporary hit because we get the thing, or we shift the thing, or we change the thing that externally we've been projecting the good upon. And so as we think, so shall it be. We get it, but then once we get it, it's a temporary high. We allow ourselves to feel that. And then what happens? The compulsory mind kicks in again on automatic and finds the next problem.
Right.
The next separation, the next gotta do, the next task. And we have that same dis-ease or that same dissatisfaction or unfulfillment kick in again because we're creating the separation. So at the end of that cycle, we get to transcend it when we go to the other mind that is not this compulsory separation. It's what you talked about, the love. It's the essence, the overarching principle that knows all of this is the illusion.
Yeah.
There is no separation. There's only wholeness, oneness. There's only fulfillment. There's only perfection here. There's only the power of God itself here. And then we get to choose from that and let that inform our thinking. And it feels different because we're now fulfilled and filling into this space of, call it love or whatever, but completion and wholeness
Yes.
and non-separation in this. Just it feels different. It feels fulfilling. And then we let that inform the doing. It's coming from a place of not, I got to go out and get this because I'm missing something. It's coming from a place of, ooh, I am inspired to share and to do this and do that. Ooh, and what if I create this? It's coming from a place of bliss and joy and fulfillment and whatever it's seeking to express that's going to amplify the fulfillment. But it's from an internal practice that it's coming from versus chasing something external to give yourself something internal. It's like a different way of being and letting that being inform your doing. So by listening to that guidance in that direction. So that was the first thing that came when you were sharing. Another thing is how we look at time. You talked about this. It's how we look at everything. Get this. One way to apply exactly what you pointed out. How we look at time, how we look at money is how we look at ourselves. Yep. Am I enough?
That's right.
Can I rely on myself just to be? And we limit ourselves. We think we are this limited thing that's not enough. There's not enough, you know, just like we look at money. It's this limited thing that's not enough. And we got to do something to get more so it can be more productive, more this, more that. However we define it, that's how we look at ourselves. I got to do more things, change this, fix that, acquire this. You know, all these external things that we're missing because we think we're not enough. It's the same practice. So your relationship with time and money is your relationship with yourself. And if you can notice that, you can begin to see how you're applying the lies to self. Now, get this. You may be thinking, I mean, self as in this. I'm talking about all of it. Yes, this too. And all of it. Life. The self is life. The self is the oneness, everything. So that goes back to exactly what you said. How you look at time and money is how you look at everything. And how you look at everything is how you look at you. Because life is an expression of you. So if you can shift and begin to recognize the lies, going back to what you pointed out, the lies are the blocks. That's it. They're just the blocks to the essence and the true nature and the flow of the natural flow of love. The natural flow of love is everything is for you. And it's in and out, giving and receiving. It's cycles, birth, experience, expression, transformation, transcendence, repeat, right? Just these beautiful cycles of flow, like the seasons, right? Beautiful cycles. And when you can get with them and harmonize with them, by letting go of the lies and the blocks, it's no longer suffering. It's a surrender to the power and the intelligence of, think of it like of the seasons, right? Do I got to suffer because it's winter? Or can I allow and enjoy? Can I do my breath work and be like Wim Hof and walk out in the cold and be like, I love the cold. The cold is medicine.
Yeah, I'm not that evolved. I'm just not that evolved yet.
I love that brother, man. I love that guy. He cracks me up. Feel the cold. The cold is medicine.
Yeah, but medicine, all right. Medicine informs you to get my behind back in the house.
don't. I'm a channel Wim. Don't fear the cold.
I don't.
The cold loves you.
I respect the cold, so I ain't trying to fight it.
but that's the thing. When we experience it and we resist it, it becomes something. You know what I'm saying? That we gotta get away from.
Resistance,
but what if it has? What if it has gifts for us? Is the
Yes.
point. And it's the
Mm-hmm.
same thing. To me, winter is like a representation of death. That whole
Yes.
cycle of the body, dropping the
Mm-hmm.
body, and then we spring into something new, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's like a lot of us do the same thing with death, do the same thing. But as we transform, wherever there is resistance, wherever there is like pain for me was the great teacher. There's a lesson in it because that pain, oh my goodness, pain is such a powerful teacher. Like I don't
Yeah.
say this in a suffering way. I say this in a grateful, gracious, um, humbled way.
Mm-hmm.
How pain can be such a powerful teacher of surrender and of transformation to help us see like there's this deep embedded, just strong grip on our identities, who we think we are, our body identification, and all this stuff. And what pain does, what I've noticed, it exposes the attachment, it amplifies the suffering until you're willing to let go.
Mm-hmm.
And it like when you're experiencing excruciating pain and you're doing all your practices. This is my experience. I'm doing all my practices. I'm like, uh, great I am. I'm affirming, I'm meditating, I'm listening. I'm like, help me. And then when I chose to just surrender and allow source
Yeah.
to speak through me, be me, embody me, I'm telling you, I felt the sensation of pain and had no suffering. I had this happen multiple times during the stretch, and it showed me the application. And for whatever reason, I still go back and or I create the appearance of going back and forth, right? Like I embody that and then I come back. I embody that, and then I come back, right? But there's nothing wrong with that. I guess what I'm saying is what that showed me is we can, like I knew and I know this and I've had these experiences, but it just showed me how much power we have to receive what's for us, whatever is arising, even the things that we feel like are tragic or how could this be happening, whatever is arising, how much power and how much love and intelligence is in it all to help us find our true power. It's all designed to help us remember who we are and experience who we are. That's what that pain showed me. Um, and and surrender to it, or to amplify and expose the lie
Mm-hmm.
and make you force your face in it so you can see it. Now I created that myself. I was ready for that. Like I listened to spirit led me to this experience because I was ready for it. Many of us are going through the experiences that we're ready for, but we don't realize we're ready for it. We don't realize we signed up for this. We don't realize and remember this is happening for us so we can wake up. Go ahead,
So
brother.
I want to say something to that, and because it ties in the thought that I'm having, where in a way I find myself, I think I said it earlier, I don't know, maybe I went somewhere else, but this idea of what I call capitalistic spirituality. So it's like, oh yeah, if I am loving and kind, then I'm doing it right. But if I'm suffering or I'm afraid, then I'm doing it wrong, then something is wrong.
Mm,
The good thing
right.
about it is life will teach you everything you need to learn if you're receptive to it, no matter what is going on. Life is not saying life, God, universe, whatever name you want to call it. It's not saying, you shouldn't have been doing that. It's, we can even talk about your expanded self. It's like going to a game. If you support a team and they beat the other team, like they just it was easy. If the game was easy, you'd be like, I support my team, but that was not fun. But if they're neck and neck, and it looks like your team is going to lose, you're like, oh my God. And there's like 30 seconds left. And then they go to a overtime. We say, oh, that was a great game. And so I believe part of the experience that we have when it comes to being afraid, not entertaining not enough, living as if we're not enough, it's a part of us that's just like, oh, I'm loving this. Now, the point I wanted to make is to kind of just even put into context, as you shared many times, I think you know where I'm going with this. You checked in when you broke your ankle. Are you frozen or you're just really listening? I think it's frozen again. That's a nice pose.
Frozen.
I was like, wow, he is really listening. Look at that smile. I need to do a screenshot of that. So anyway, I keep talking. Do we need to remove you and you refresh? Yeah, he took himself out. But the thing is, I want to say when John was here, but I'll say, I think he's going to refresh over there. But John checks in. Now, I'm not going to say it like that. John checks in for everything. For everything. And the incident that happened when he broke his ankle, he checked in. He had got on a skateboard. I don't know if it was the first time or if that's the first time in his life is what I mean. And then he was teaching his son. He was teaching his son how to skateboard. And then he was going to do it the second time. And he checked in. He asked for guidance. Should I do it? Again, it's the highest and best. He got a yes to do it. Now, depending on how you're thinking about it, you might say, I don't know what he's listening to. If we're attached to the idea that, when we are in God, when we are listening, only good things are supposed to happen. And the good thing is determined by what we think good is. I'm thinking of something here. Okay, I'm going to share it. Bring John back. He's back. Yeah, that cool dude look. What happened? Oh, sorry, India. Thank you, India. I was doing too much. When was it? 2 years ago, October 2018, before I had my government retreat, I did talk to John because I had some kind of feelings about it. And I checked in. Well, I checked in and then I reached out to John. And John was like, he gave me the guidance and I understood like it's going to be great. There was one part of the guidance that I got. It's something like it's going to be everything that I desire it to be. So I'm like, I'm going to go to San Francisco, Bay Area, come back to Atlanta. It's going to be good. Well, it didn't happen that way. I never even made it to San Francisco before I was shipped back to UK. And I remember thinking, what kind of mother, father, God experience was that? Guidance was that? It took me a while to really get it. So, because John, I don't know if you missed it, I was talking about you checking in before you got on the skateboard the second time. So if we're only thinking, well, when I ask for guidance, it's going to be good experiences. But when I don't, I'm going to mess up. But part of this journey, this process of allowing love and choosing love invites us to even let go of the good and bad. Because if God is all there is, if you believe that, I do, God is all there is, God is the only thing happening. Yes, from a human perspective, having stopped by Border Patrol, 40 days in the detention center was a horrible experience. Why the flip would I even ask for that? And in addition to that, being back in UK, I can tell you today that I know that there is no place else that I needed to be than here because of the healing that has happened. I needed to come back to this country to heal my relationship with this country, the country that I was born in. And because I really didn't think much about it, I'm like, whatever. I was treating UK like it's a woman that divorced that I don't want nothing to ever do. I'm grateful that we never had a child together. But part of my spiritual expansion was, no, you got to heal that too. You got to kill. That was part of my resistance. I don't want to fucking go back over there. What? But in coming back here, healing my relationship with United Kingdom is really healing my relationship with myself, where the universe, God gets to ask me, will you be made whole? So sometimes we think spirituality means you're never going to have any issues and things are wrong. I'm doing it wrong if I'm having painful experiences or if this is causing me suffering. No, let that go. The best we can do, one of the things we can do, and I'll say the best, is to ask, what am I to learn from this experience? What is this experience revealing to me? What do I need to see that I'm not seeing? Because even the people we support in sports, they go through all kind of grueling experience. When they get on the field, we're like, yeah, LeBron. But we don't know what happened to him in practice. We don't know if he had doubts. But when he gets on there, gets on the stage, or whoever we lift up, whether it's not, maybe it's people that we, authors, speakers, teachers, do we think, oh my God, they're just so tapped in. But we don't always hear the backstory. You talked about pain, like creating the experience of you going back and forth. But now you have a deep appreciation for pain, and you can teach it in a way where it's not just knowing, you've experienced it. Now you can be it. So whether you go back and forth is not as important as to more about what you learned. Because you're like, oh, there were still times I go back. We don't go to the gym and say, I build my core. Yeah, I don't really want my muscle being really that big, so I'm going to stop going now. Whatever it is, we keep going. Oh, I've graduated from school, from college. I don't need to learn anything. I read this book. It was life transforming. I don't need to read another book. You read another book and you get another insight. So all of it, you're doing that cool dude smile. I just have to yield to you, man. You get that, like, yeah. I don't know if you're feeling cool or you're feeling proud of me. So like, yeah. So anyway, go ahead. Go ahead,
no,
John.
You were on point, man. I was enjoying that. The other thing you mentioned something about knowing too. And I just bring this from when I'm listening to spirit, it talks about knowing in a way that is experience. Like to know spirit is to experience spirit. So it puts them together, the knowing and the experience of, right? So if we think of knowing that way, what it does is, if we think of knowing that way, like to experience the knowing of wholeness, the knowing of oneness, that is an experience of the thing itself, or of what, right? Our essence. So to know ourselves is to experience the truth of ourselves, right? And I think that's why that whole what was it? I can't remember. There's some discovery where they found some green tablet or the emerald tablet or whatever. But anyway, so, in a lot of temples it would say, know thyself, right? Mm-hmm. To me, I believe that is talking about experiencing. Wow, my phone just rang and it froze up again. That's funny.
Okay, no worries.
I'm gonna leave it like that then.
Well, I don't know if it's gonna unfreeze though. Yeah, a quick second looking at you being frozen like that, it's kind of cool, and then it's like, okay, he looks spooky. So you
And the funny thing is, I'm having a hard time hearing you now. Are you having a hard time hearing me?
No, I hear you. I hear you clearly. Yeah, there's a question here, and I think when John comes back, I'll let him finish what he's saying, and then we're going to answer this question by Danielle. Oh, the question is like, ooh, Ayana, yes, you're most welcome. Thank you for being here. See, when John and I get together, man, because we're just expressing love, I really haven't been paying that much attention. I've been looking, but when John comes back, okay, he's back. John, when you finish, there's a question here that I want us to speak to, and then we can wrap it up, or else we'll be here for another 2 hours. All
right. We can stay all day.
And the thing is, you ain't got nowhere to go but sit on the couch. We got things to do. So that is a blessing for you.
So, that's it. It is, man. So to bring it full circle around, as that knowing to me comes from the correction or the renewal of the mind, the transformation, however you want to put it, that comes from spirit or the spirit. The other thing I think is important, my mom and I were talking about this, like if you've ever heard of a lexicon, in the scriptures, like the Hebrew and the Aramaic of the Bible, for example, I used to do this a lot, and I started doing it again recently. I would take a word that I find in the English language of the Bible, like Spirit, Holy Spirit, and then I'd research it. Like in Greek, it's pneuma. In Hebrew, though, consistently ruach, and then there's other Aramaic that's similar to that. But when you trace those words, and then you look for every instance of it, what you end up finding is there's these nuances to what we call Holy Spirit. In the Aramaic was breath, translated as breath, translated as wind, translated as the same in the Hebrew where it said, then the I am Elohim breathed life into the physical bodies it had made, right? Breathed life into the nostrils, right? That breath was spirit, ruach, right? So you've got these interesting nuances of these words, but then when I listen to opening up to spirit, inviting the Holy Spirit, as I call it, that Holy Spirit, that source energy, to come in and guide me, what I end up hearing is the truth that I need to be. How can I say this? It brings the transformation or the correction. It brings the truth that we need to see instead of the lie.
Yes.
So that just what you said about asking those questions, what's the lesson here? What do I need to know? That's the part of listening for the correction, the truth that the Spirit brings. That breathing, that being present, and our awareness expanding into the subtler energy of source, of God, the kingdom of God, the vibration and frequencies of God, where the I am resides. Where is the I am?
Right.
It's not here or there. It's not somewhere you got to reach high or low from, like Jesus said. It's within you.
It's right here. Seek that first. Yes, indeed.
Bingo.
Go within.
When we do that,
yes, all things
that,
added onto you.
we can see when we do that, we can begin to see and let go of the lies, the misperceptions of not enough, of lack and separation and fear. And then we can let the Spirit inform us and correct us. So let's move on to your question.
Yeah. And, I'll say this while I want to do something with this, but also it's important to say that there's something about spiritual truth, spiritual principles. When we hear it, it resonates with us. And we're like, yeah. However, it is important to integrate it by taking actions. I say to practicalize it. Don't just say, yeah, oh, that feels good. But now apply that in a way I feel like actually jump into the question, not intentionally, but we got to apply it in times when things are challenging. So this is a question from Danielle. She's on Kathy's page. She says, sometimes something I'm dealing with is I know I have to work, but a part of me feels I need to enjoy life. I'm trying not to feel guilty for taking more time to work on myself spiritually, though I have stressed about money. I've stressed about money. John, you want to add what you're feeling first, and then I'll go next.
Sure.
Or,
you got it.
Or if you check in and I'm told to go first, I'll go too.
I was going to say, this is a great application. Like even in this, what I rely on is not my own thinking. Yes. Like when this question arises, I've just learned, you know what? I can access the knowing to know. So in my conscious mind right now, I don't have an answer, but this is what I do. Real time, I'm going to breathe. I practice so much where I can just align and then begin to let the words flow out. And the words I'm receiving for you are in this moment. What you've even said is a creation of how you think. It is not the truth. It is a recapturing of the past and what you have done, and you are identifying with these past behaviors. But in this now moment, you're creating it by your own thinking and recapturing. I have done this. I have been that. In this now moment, none of that is the reality, other than you bringing it up and creating it in your mind in the now. So there's a conditioning that has you believing in these patterns. And the freedom is coming into this now moment. So Danielle, if you take a breath with us. You can even close your eyes and you can simply say, to the I am, that Holy Spirit, that Christ consciousness, I surrender now my will, my thinking, my conditioned, limited thinking and misperceptions. And I relax, I breathe, and I ask your guidance to be shown, to be made clear. Now, if you were able to relax, ask, and simply listen, what do I need to know? And listen for those answers. That's the practical application of what we're talking about. You're opening yourself up to trust life itself, to allow your own knowing, your own awareness to expand, to be in this moment. In this moment, there is no compulsion of stress unless you choose it. But if you bring your focus to surrendering to the I am, you let that go. And then you can allow that to transform you and renew your mind. Now, we can bring through all sorts of things and tell you, hey, in reality, you are not separate from your good. In reality, you don't have to stress. You can choose surrender and know that all is well and always is, because that's the highest principle, et cetera, et cetera. But until you've integrated and applied it, experienced it, felt it, and know it for yourself, whoopity-doo. It's just a bunch of concepts and beliefs. And to move from belief, affirmations and practices are tools. Beliefs are stepping stones. Beliefs, affirmations, all of these things, visualization, they are stepping stones to assist us into knowing. Hold to the teachings, hold to the practices, then you will know the truth. You will know the truth. What does knowing the truth? Knowing the truth means literally experiencing it, and it sets you free. Sets you free from the misperception, the sin, the missing the mark. That's what we have experienced over and over again. I believe that's what Jesus was bringing to people, because he said, if you hold to my teachings, you'll know the truth. Truth will set you free. Free from what? Sin, misperception, missing the mark, being wrong, being out of alignment with God, unrighteousness, things that oppose the reality of righteousness, your birthright as a child and son or daughter of God, right? So all of that stuff, it sets you free from when you come into alignment with God's spirit and you apply your practice to surrender to that. Let that inform, let that correct you. So yeah, it takes practice though. It's not like, for me, my wife reminds me of this. When I first started off, it was a challenge. It was more challenging than now. It was a challenge of recognizing what I'm identifying with is all this misperception, lies, and struggle and suffering and all of this stuff. It was just running my life. And I would wonder why I felt like this, that, and the other. Then it began to be exposed through my practices and surrender. And I kept seeing new things and kept letting go of lies and aligning with truth in deeper and deeper ways. And now it's easier to do. It's the same for all of us. Through our practice of surrender to that divine will, it can correct us, help us let go of more and more of what is a misperception, so that we can align with the correction or the truth to set ourselves free. And we're expanding in that freedom, expanding in that realization of what we are, so that we can see all as one, all as perfect, all as whole, all as love. So that's a long way to answer your question, but I think it just comes down to the practice. It's okay where you are. You're in the perfect ingredients to go within, to find the practices that work for you, that assist you, and let that guide you on when to feel good, when to do the things that are relaxing, enjoyable, and when you need to do the work. Let that direct your path.
That's right.
And that will solve everything for you, in my humble opinion. Go ahead.
No, in your Hamilton opinion.
Right.
John Hamilton Stringer. You said it, and I just want to add some of the things that I'm sensing. Let me do this. I love that you're saying, John, this whole thing about exposing the lie. So, Danielle, where's the lie in this statement? If you read what you wrote, whether there's a typo or not, if you say, oh, I actually didn't mean to say it like that, Where's the lie in this statement? I'll tell you. I give you a moment or two to kind of see where it is. Read it. 10, 9, 8, 7. We ain't got time. Oh, yeah, we have time because my time is an expression of love. Okay, so I don't have to worry about that. So you said, something I am dealing with is I know I have to work. Here comes the lie. But that's the lie right there. Your butt is in the way. That's the lie. But a part of me feels I need to enjoy life. The minute you do the but, now you're living in either or. Either or is fear. Either or is restriction. Either or is fear, separation. You can work and enjoy life. I'm trying not to feel guilty for taking some time to work on myself. Woo! Talk about exposing a lie. So now you're saying I need to work, but I need to enjoy my life. But I'm trying not to feel guilty, by working on myself. Well, John shared earlier, seek ye first the kingdom of God. It's in the kingdom of God within you. So it's thinking that needs to be arranged here. I'm trying not to feel guilty. Good luck with that. Because when guilt shows up, you ain't got no chance. Now, the quickest thing you can do, the easiest thing you can do with guilt is be with the guilt. Don't try and resist the guilt. Okay, I'm noticing that I even feel guilty about doing my spiritual work. I mean, just sit with that and take a breath again, because there are many ways to get to this. John shared his technique. I'm sharing mine. You can talk to another teacher that tell you something else. You can read a book. You can send it to Oprah. She give you her version, and you get to decide. No, this was the best answer. You get to decide. But look at what you wrote here, what you're sharing. And this is not to put you down or make you feel less than. It's just recognize your own thinking. I'm trying not to feel guilty about spiritual work. The only work that needs to be done on this planet, in my humble opinion, is spiritual work. Because as a human experience or spiritual being in a physical body, your work here is spiritual work. Everything you do is about your spirituality. It's not separate. You can't leave your spirituality in your meditation room and then go to work. It's the same. So the guilt that's coming up, maybe somebody else's voice. Maybe it's your voice thinking, oh, I could be, I can invest this time in doing something else while I'm here meditating and the whole world, people are dying from COVID-19. And here I am getting all blissed out. Ooh, this is not acceptable. Listen, you can do more for humanity by doing your spiritual work. We need more people doing their spiritual work. So thank you for doing your spiritual work.
Yes.
Thank you for doing your spiritual work. And you can feel good. You can enjoy life as you do your other work. It's just a shift. Nothing stops you from enjoying life no matter what you're going through. John shared his experience about pain. I'm telling you, my 40-day experience in a detention center, it ain't no cakewalk or whatever they call it. There were times I was like, I don't want to flipping be here. And then I bring myself back to the truth. What do I need to know? Why am I here? What do I need to see? It's not always going to be easy. Sometimes it's going to be challenging. But the more important thing you want to do is change your thinking. You are exactly where you need to be. And do the work. Don't just take this and say, okay, well, that was great. That made me feel good. It will make you feel good if you don't do it in this moment. But if you don't do the work, I'm just going to say it like that. If you don't do the work, chances are you may find yourself asking the same question in a different way. So this is really an opportunity for you to master your own way of being, to master yourself, to master your thinking, to see how you view your own world. So in fact, rather than this being a problem, this is a blessing. I'm looking over here because that's where the question is. Oh, we lost John again. This is a blessing. And I want to commend you for even sharing your process, because your strength is in your vulnerability. Your strength is in your vulnerability. And I'm sure as you type this in the chat room and sharing it, you're sensing something. Because sometimes those of us on the spiritual path, well, I have some low vibration emotions, but I'm not trying to give it no attention because law of attraction. And then when we get to the house, we're like, oh, my life sucks. Well, I'm doing my inner work. Sometimes we just need to say this. Excuse me, children, if you're listening. So move now because I need to really express this. So if you've got children listening, send them real quick because I want to say sometimes you just got to say this is fucked up. You just call it what it is. And in telling your truth, you get to free yourself. So when you can say up, then you can free yourself. And so thank you for the question. Thank you for being true to yourself. And just embrace it all. Oh, I know. I got a good brother, man. He's got a song called Accept It All. Not accept what feels good or what. No, accept it all. There is a lesson here. And
remember when we used to have church?
Put, it's returning you back to yourself. Tune in and ask, what is mine to do? Go ahead, John.
Remember when we used to have church?
Boy, do I remember.
Together,
yes.
And there would be those times where we encounter something, be like, I'm feeling like this, feeling like that, and this is what is arising, and we bring it into the light. But we recognize believing that as the truth, what we're really exposing is the block. So sometimes when we're in the midst of the challenge, like Danielle was saying, she's got this guilt, she's got these different things in the midst of the challenge. Just like you said, being able to see how are you defining life at this level, that either or, as perfect as Kathy repeated, am I defining work and enjoyment? I have this separation between them. Am I looking at my spiritual practice and these other things separate? Am I doing all that? When you can begin to recognize that, just like you said, put it to words and see it, then you can even invite that correction. Because you get to that point, like you said, this is effed up, this is fucked up, this is whatever, right? When you get to that point and you can see that, that perception is not all is well and always is. That perception is not everything is God, everything is love. That perception is opposed to it. So you've identified your block. You've entered the perfect situation to receive the correction. And so when we used to have church, we would recognize, like my process was always or often, oh my goodness, I'm feeling this. What is this? What is it? Oh, I feel like it, blah, blah, blah. And I try to describe it, be like, I'm feeling like I'm afraid and yada, yada. And I would see the misperception and it would reveal and bubble up by me being present with it. It was hard to see it without being present. And as it came up, I would realize, this hurts or that. I'm afraid. I'm scared. Happened with Kathy and I recently. I realized in the moment we're talking and she's thinking one thing and saying one thing and didn't like the way I say this or that. And in that moment, I'm literally feeling like I don't like the way this conversation feels. So I stop and I say, I'm not sure what's going on. Let me check in, right? Mid conversation. And I'm asking, is it because I'm judging something? No. Is it because of this? No. But through practice, I can do that. And what it led to, we had a lot of conversations like this recently, but what this particular one led to was me realizing I had fear of loss and losing our relationship, because on this anniversary, maybe 5 years ago, we were going to go two separate ways because we weren't on the same path. And then later,
that's this day. This 5 years ago. This
day. This day. Yep, 8/11. And then we eventually, it was earth shattering, of course, for us, and it was transformative, and it eventually brought us back around to getting on the same path, and that brought us. We got the guidance that, hey, the changes and the transformation came, that we would stay on this path together, which was awesome to us, of course. We were surrendered regardless, but It was just beautiful. And then I noticed recently the fear of that loss happening again coming. Like
Mm.
when resistance would come up or whatever. Long story short, it was spirit that was helping me see I was operating in lack and fear. So a lot of times our separation thinking has to do with some sort of misperception. Perhaps I'm misperceiving my work. I'm judging my work in some sort of way that makes it miserable. Maybe when
Mhm.
I'm there, it's my attitude about the work I'm doing. Taxes was that for me for years. Used to hate taxes. Oh my God, I hated taxes. It was the roughest thing for me to do. Be 3 and 4 days of just mind boggling stuff. But I surrendered to spirit, and spirit showed me the changes that I needed to make. A, in my perception of it, and B, in the action I took. So it's a transformation of first and foremost consciousness towards what you're working on. And secondly, a transformation of inspired action to take that you're asking spirit for correction for. And it doesn't happen at the level of problem. Like the fact that you have this struggle and this problem is the level you need to transcend. You can't rely on that level of thinking to solve anything because really nothing needs to be solved. You just need to be guided out of the mess that you've made in your consciousness, right? The misperception, the lies. So that's why you invoke, or that's why you ask spirit to assist you and guide you in correction. You can sit here and try, but until you surrender, the real knowing and the transformation, the correction is not of your limited idea of you. It does not come from your limited idea of you. It comes from the expanded truth of who you are. That's where correction comes from. So, as the Christians would say, you got to give it to God.
Yeah.
You got to let God do the transformation in
God,
you.
God
That's
do
where
what
it's
God
coming
does.
from.
Yes. God is experienced in
Yeah,
doing this kind of shift. You know,
that's
there's
right.
two things that's happening for me. One is actually a breakthrough that I just had as I'm listening to you. And I'm sitting there going, wow, wow. I'm gonna share that. But just last one for Danielle. Um, the gift of your experience is there are other people who feel exactly the same way. So you
Yeah.
became the voice to ask the question, and maybe they didn't know even how to put it in words or didn't want to, whatever the case may be, but you became the representative for somebody else, or other people listen to this later on. And the answers that we've given will help somebody else. So even in your pain, you will bring in pleasure for somebody else. So I'm going to talk about the breakthrough I just had real short. And I'm just like, okay, it's funny because I don't know if you saw me smiling because I'm like, oh my God.
Mm.
If we were to change the title of this conversation, it would be, for me, it would be seek ye first the kingdom or queendom of God within yourself, and you will see that time and money is an expression of love. That's a
Perfect.
long. Okay, so transparency here. Since I've been doing my podcast on video and live, I used to pre-record it. It's been hard to keep up with actually using my podcast platform that I pay for every month. The last show that I uploaded, the audio, was part 2 of the conversation I had with you in about June. And it's been nagging me. Like, I need to find time to edit the show so I can put it up there. Now, the video is a little bit different because I can narrow it down, take some things out, and put a beginning and end, which is great. But the breakthrough I had is the block, as you call it, and why now I have so many podcasts that I need to upload was because I wanted to make it perfect. I want to go in there and edit it first. And then so when I edit it, it could be a beautiful experience. Like right now, it's not good enough. It was good enough to go out live, but somehow it's no longer good enough for it to be archived and
That's
be
hilarious.
purposed. So because, I may have said something that I really didn't mean, or I said a word, I need to edit that out. So what I'm really saying is like, I have been flipping myself up, creating work for myself because I wanted to now put something that we've already done, people have listened to, now make it better. Talk about whatever, it's just sort of.
Dude, that's it, man. That's what misperception does. It finds a problem that doesn't really exist, and then creates all this work, creates another problem, creates another problem on top of the illusion of a problem to fix it.
I've been paying like $25 a month to maintain the problem, to make me feel bad about paying for something I ain't using because there's a problem. There's really not a problem. Now I don't have enough time to fix the problem. I look really bad because I keep talking about a podcast, but there's nothing on Google and iTunes.
And then the correction solves it and says, oh, wait a minute, ain't no problem. Now I see inspired action to actually go ahead and just get this stuff done. And then it frees you up.
It's like,
that's right.
Man, you and I set records. I think you're the first one that did like an hour and 30 minutes, an hour and 40 minutes on this show since I've been doing it live. Now we've done it for 2 hours. We always set records, man. Oh, bless you. Next show, John and I have. Just prepare yourself. Bring your popcorn. Bring your drink. And, John.
You ever seen that Michael Jackson meme? You ever seen that Michael Jackson meme at the movie?
Yeah.
Eating the popcorn.
Did you the one you create? You did something like that, right?
Yeah, I used. Oh, that was so funny, man. But I used that as a. I used one from Scream. Say again. Yeah.
Well, there's one from Scream. You can do screenshot on here, but I don't know. I haven't played with it, so I don't know how to do it. But go ahead, explain it.
Yeah, the meme is when we consider ourselves in the world and of this world, we're like Michael Jackson in that video Scream. And then so I had that picture. And then when we're in the world but not of this world, we're like Michael Jackson with the popcorn, just eating away, watching the movie, right? And the whole essence of that is the knowing, the spirit of God, the essence, the breath of life, that subtleness that we expand into when we're present, when we're aligned. It knows this is the illusion, and it can assist us in moving into observing and watching the perfection of it all on play, where we're not entangled in the fear, even with the pandemic, even with any ailments that we go through, even with any injuries that we go through, even with any transitions in our careers or livelihoods that we go through. We're listening to the knowing and watching, knowing all is well, knowing that this is for us, knowing that this is going to help deepen our connection to our internal power. So we're letting go of these misperceptions and relying on the I am to do the work in us and through us, not of our quote limited selves, but of the I am self. So we were just surrendering to that and letting it do the shift, and it takes care of all the shift.
And that one too. But you know what? In letting, I don't know if Kathy told you, she probably didn't, or I don't know. But anyway, in letting go of the misperception, you get to shift perception. So the meme that you created doesn't have audio. It's just him going, and then with him popcorn. So my perception of the meme was him having a great orgasm, and eating the popcorn was him like, ooh, that was good. No perspective.
That's quite a different perspective. It's what we choose. We make our reality.
That's it. He was like,
that's it.
He was having a good time. It's like, okay, now let me
hilarious.
I'll go for popcorn. Life is good.
Hilarious.
Anyway, my brother, anything you want to share, what you're up to? And if you forget, I'm sure Kathy would tell us in the chat room that you want listeners to know anything you're up to that you want to share.
Yeah, people can go to johnstringerinc.com, hit the tour page, or Kathy can put that link in there, see some of the upcoming things. In fact, Kathy books them all, so she'd know better than I would, but they're all listed, thankfully. I show up when she tells me, hey, baby, you got this coming up and that coming up. The one thing that I do know, though, we're going to have a wonderful interview with a doctor who has worked with COVID, worked with the situation. She's going to be bringing her perspective from experience in working with this pandemic. We're going to ask her some great questions about.
When is that happening? Let me know. I want to know that.
That's going to be that is going to be, I believe, this coming Thursday.
You don't know. Kathy will tell us. You don't know.
Yeah, Kathy, let us know when it is.
So
and that's going to be part of our Waking Pillow Talk podcast. So she's going to be the first guest on it, and we're going to be bringing up, to me, respecting the illusion is just like I'm respecting the doctor's guidance on how to heal this leg. Now I'm one and I'm healed because the essence of this, I'm not the body, right? But I'm still going to respect the illusion. I'm still going to do what the doctor says. I'm still going to ask spirit how to take care of it so it don't hurt so much and so it heals properly, right? That's respecting the illusion. But respecting illusion means respecting the design. If I don't fuel this body, if I don't give it the nourishment, the water and the different things it needs, how can it function properly? So we're going to talk to a doctor and respect the illusion and listen to her experience, and at the same time bring that conscious awareness and let that inform us. So we're excited about that, man. Just because,
and
I mean, people got a lot of questions and even misperceptions about misperceptions.
Okay, and then the people are stuck. I can talk about that, but the other thing, I'm so glad you're doing this, because that you talk about misperception. There's illusion. There's a lot of misinformation. And I'm going to say this, and I don't care what side people are on. How is it that scientists and leaders of countries are telling you to wear masks, wash your hands, social distance, but they're not talking about people building their immune system? I'm talking about the ones that we see on TV. I mean, come on. That should go hand in hand. Wear a mask, wash your hands, and social distance. Well, if your immune system is shot, that don't mean crap. So it's like, if you're not telling people, however, you can call it conspiracy theory. I'm not talking to anybody here. I'm talking to other people in my head. You can call it conspiracy theory all you want. If you're not telling people what they need to do to build their immune system, and you say you're trying to save lives, I don't trust you. There are those who are giving valid information. There are people who they're scientists and doctors sometimes on social media that are given a more information. Let me just say that, more information. And back to what we were saying earlier, seek ye first the kingdom and queendom of God within you, and it will guide you. It will tell you this is not just frivolous stuff. This is truth you can use. And I'm going to leave that right here. So anyway, are they saying there's a question? Oh, there's a question in the chat room. Kathy, I don't know. You said, did I send a question in the chat room? Are they saying is a question for the chat room, please? I don't know what you mean, Kathy. Do you understand that? John, can you see? Your wife
I'm looking
said,
now. Ade, send is a question for the chat, please. I do not understand. Send me a question for the show. Oh, so yes, if you have questions for the show, like Ade, specifically, send them to her for the show.
Okay, good. Okay, thank you. See, your husband's so tapped into you, he knew exactly what you were asking. I'm like, I have no idea what you're talking about.
She clarified.
Yeah, John. John, my brother, I appreciate you. I love your transparency. I love your consciousness. And I'm so grateful for our friendship, our connection. And
likewise, brother.
So much more, man. There's so much I can say. And we're sending you love. You don't need it because you got access to it. We're sending you healing blessings.
But I take it.
You said what?
I said, but I receive it anyway.
I know that's right. There's always room for more. So yes, thank you, Kathy, for hooking this up. And yes, Awakened Pillow Talk is there. When does it air? Is it every month, or John? Do you know?
Since the injury, it has been whenever we schedule it.
Yeah, I know that's right.
So the next one is 8/20 at 7 p.m. Eastern.
Boy, what would you do without your wife, man?
I know that's right, bro. Yeah. It would be challenging, let me tell you. She is a manifestation of my good, an embodiment of God, and everything is for me.
That's it. All right, this is getting so good we don't even want to end. I think we need to
I
let it
know
go
that's
now.
right. We
It's
love
all
you
about.
all. Hey, you mind if I do a little? Mind if I do a little something to end us?
You want to do a song?
No, a little something to end us.
Yeah.
Just a
Okay.
little
I know
statement.
you enough. Okay, go ahead. Go on.
So let's breathe. Let's breathe together.
Oh, okay.
We're gonna breathe in all the goodness we just remembered together.
Yes.
All the goodness we're realizing together. Breathe it in. All the goodness that's here for us now. We breathe it in. And as my dear friend Rika Zimmerman says, we know this is sealed by source. Sealed by source. Sealed by source.
Yes.
That everything that is revealing itself as love is empowering us to express in higher levels of consciousness, surrendering to the will of the I am God, Elohim, source, universal field, the oneness itself expressing as us, surrendering to that great will of love and intelligence, that its will be done through us, in us, and as us. We give thanks that will has already been done in, as, and through us, and will continue to express itself and reveal its good nature. We give thanks, and so it is.
I share. It is done. It is done. Thank you, my
Done.
brother.
Thank you,
look, we just hit 2 hours and 11 minutes.
Nice.
When you say, "Can I do something?" I thought you would do one of the John Stringer specials, like do something funny, because I know what you're about to do. Well, I thought I did, but clearly I don't.
That's funny.
Thank you, my brother. I love and appreciate
you, man.
Peace and blessings.
Always, brother. Thank you, bro. Peace.
Life is good. It's getting better. Yep, we keep setting records, John and I. There ain't much to say. Hardly anything has all been said, but I will say this. No. And I'll say this. The quickest way to surrender, the quickest way to your freedom is to slow down. Slow down. If you feel like running, run. But then again, you can just tune in and ask, is it the time to rush? Is this the time to slow down? Seek ye first the kingdom and queendom of heaven, and you will see and know that time and money is an expression of love, an expression of your love. India, thank you very much for all you're doing behind the scenes. Thank you, Kwali, New Jays, Kathy, Sister Ayana. Shoyinka was here. I know there's a lot of what is it called? Watch parties. People on YouTube, and those of you who are watching it later, thank you all for being here. I love you. I bless you. I appreciate you. And I thank God for you. And just I'm going to say this. Yeah. Rev D at their church, their spiritual center, they always say, take this consciousness and multiply it. Take what you've learned, multiply the consciousness, and be the representation of God in action. Peace and blessings.
There is a space in my heart where I find the truth. I find me in you, a truth beyond what you may see now. But when we are one, we bring more good about. No matter who or what you call yourself or where you come from, yeah. There is a place in this world with open arms right now. Welcome to love. Welcome to peace. Welcome to our community. Be who you are. Let your light shine. We're so much more when we unite. You are welcome here. You are welcome here. I see with new eyes, allow and unfold, embrace and let go, trust the flow. There's a freedom in love when you follow your heart. Together we are stronger than we could ever be apart. No matter who or what you call yourself or where you come from, yeah, there is a place in this world with open arms right now. Welcome to love. Welcome to peace. Welcome to our community. Be who you are. Let your light shine. We're so much more when we unite. You are welcome here. You are welcome here. Breathe in and out. Slowly feel all that's around you. All that you feel. All that you know. Let it go. Welcome to love. Welcome to peace. Welcome to our community.